The widow of a beloved Brooklyn pastor says she's being coldly kicked out of the parsonage just 2 months after his death, but the church board claims it's on her husband's orders. On August 17, Paula Brown returned to the sprawling 2-story Colonial in Ditmas Park after running errands to find a 10-day eviction notice stuffed behind the screen door. "I broke down crying," Brown, 55, told the Post. "I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I was completely traumatized." Her husband, the Rev. Roy E. Brown, who founded Pilgrim Baptist Church in Bushwick in 1966 and became known as the Archbishop of a network of 40 affiliated congregations across the country, died June 2 at the age of 75. Yet bitter family rivalries that reared up during the minister's last months and even the night of his death provided a clue that the widow's bereavement period would not be a peaceful one. As the pastor, who suffered from prostate cancer, diabetes and who had lost both legs, grew sicker, rumors swirled that he was being mistreated by his wife. Some of the gossip was turned up by the minister's own daughter, Tawana Brown. "There was a lot of abuse going on in the home," she said on a YouTube talk show. But former congregant Antonio Quinones said Tawana was poisoning the bishop with lies about his wife not taking care of him and letting him sit in his own SHT. People believed it. Tawana called Adult Protective Services on her stepmother, Paula Brown, who in turn tried to obtain an order of protection against Tawana. An APT spokeswoman would not comment, citing confidentiality rules. Tawana Brown did not return calls seeking comment. The years-long conflict reached a boiling point hours after the bishop's death, when Tawana demanded her father's jewelry, but Brown refused, said a source familiar with the incident. "She was yelling, 'You killed my father. I want an autopsy,'" said Brown, who called the police. "He's not even dead an hour, and she's screaming at me over his dead body. Now, the preacher's wife is fighting the crutch board." She said the eviction order blindsided her. "The church never had any conversation with me about this," she said. "He always said, 'Paula, you're going to be taken care of. You don't have to worry.'" She believes the board has a buyer waiting in the wings to purchase the stately $2.5 million century-old home on Ditmas Avenue. Rev. Brown took out a $200,000 mortgage to buy the 5-bedroom home in 1992 and sold it to the church 3 years later for $10. The church board is unapologetic about bouncing Mrs. Brown and claims it's simply executing her husband's verbal orders to boot her within 90 days of his death. "Our action is in compliance with her husband's wish," church lawyer Monty Chandler told the Post. The attorney refused to provide paperwork to back the claim. Chandler believes the church was particularly magnanimous to the widow and her husband since he retired 13 years ago. The church paid $1,700 a week for home health aides, maintaining the house to the tune of almost $7,000 a month for years. "It's not like the church has not been kind," Chandler said. "The church has a duty to be good stewards over their financial responsibility," he said. He added that Mrs. Brown has received a $100,000 check as beneficiary of a church-provided life insurance policy. One congregant, Constance Barnhart claims the pastor once told parishioners during a church service to make sure my wife gets